everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're really excited to cover the topic of how to build strong customer engagement through the combination of social media and review management. So my name is Emily Carl, and I work with an amazing team of reputation problem solvers here at ReviewTrackers. We're based in Chicago, and we help businesses listen to their customers and monitor customer-generated feedback through the help of online review management. ReviewTrackers also helps businesses facilitate feedback through survey tools to help them pinpoint and resolve issues really fast. I'll have Michael introduce himself from Sprout Social.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm Michael, and I work at a social media management company, Sprout Social. We are also in Chicago, and before we even started this broadcast, Emily and myself were talking about how it is supposed to snow here on Saturday. It's unbelievable, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so at Sprout, we're a social media management and engagement platform to help you more effectively discuss and engage and create relationships with your customers on social media.
Great. So we're going to cover a few topics today during this 30-minute webinar, including how to build a strong social media presence, a strong online review management strategy, and how to effectively and efficiently merge the two seamlessly to reach several audiences. And again, we'll open it up for some Q&A at the end, so if you have any questions at all, feel free to throw them to us in the webinar control panel, and we will address as many as possible at the end. So to start, I want to first answer this question. Why is customer feedback and engagement so important in the first place? So online channels have made it so much easier than ever for customers to start discussions with or even about brands. Now, while this is a step in the right direction towards boosting customer and brand relations, it also leaves companies exposed. So it's important to use customer feedback tools and social media channels to navigate conversations that mention your brand online, whether it's positive or negative. So what can businesses do to take advantage of both reviews and social posts to increase reputation and engagement? So let's first take a look at the current state of customer engagement, specifically the social impact, which Michael is going to cover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael, take it away.
So before we start going into how you can actually develop and create your own social media strategy, I think it's kind of important to discuss more of the history of social media, put an emphasis on why exactly it is we need a social media strategy. So to break it up, let's first talk about how consumers use social media, and then we'll talk about how brands are keeping up with that engagement. So consumers, 20% of consumers use social media at least once for customer service in the last year. So you can imagine, you know, how customers took to the phone as soon as that came around, and people were less likely to mail businesses anymore. And now that Facebook and Twitter have made it so much easier to talk to the brands that you actually care about engaging with, customers are more often taking to that as a channel to interact with brands. So 20% of customers have used social media to reach out to brands in the past year. 83% of those consumers expect a response on Twitter within the very same day. So not only are more people turning to social media to reach out to you and to voice their complaints or give feedback or leave your positive reviews, they're asking for a response much quicker. And these are all stats from Zendesk, which, if you guys don't know, is a software company that is all about, excuse me, it's a customer service software company. So how are brands actually keeping up with that increase in social media engagement? This is data that we have, we've created internally at Sprout Social. So in the last year, there's been a 32% increase in the amount of social messages sent from customers to brands. But 8 in 9 of those messages sent to brands requiring response go unanswered in the first 72 hours. So the data from before said that people are expecting a response within the same day. But unfortunately, 8 in 9 of those messages sent to brands go unanswered in the first 72 hours. So you can imagine if you're working at a call center, if 8 in 9 of those phone calls went completely unanswered, they just rang off the hook, it doesn't look good for your brand, especially on such a public channel like social media. people can see that you're not responding to these people that are reaching out to you, it makes you look bad, and these people are less likely inclined to reach out to you themselves. Next one. So given that data and the increased need for a social media engagement strategy, the question becomes, how can you actually create a social engagement strategy? Well, essentially the way we look at it here is combining social customer service with social customer care. And I'll draw out the differences here. So first, you want to focus on social customer service, and that is when people are actually actively reaching out to you to voice a problem or a concern. So it's more of a reactive strategy on social media. So you can see this example to the right. Somebody said, was excited for my Jimmy John's till I got back to my desk and took a bite of a veggie. So obviously this person didn't want veggie, and they probably made that clear during the phone call. So this person is complaining about Jimmy John's to their entire social network. So all the people that follow them, it doesn't look good on Jimmy John's. But thankfully they have a social customer service strategy in play, and they responded to this and they said, uh-oh, sorry, and they apologized. And the person actually responded to them and said, I ate the veggie, it wasn't bad, no worries. So they turned what was a bad customer experience into something positive. And you see that the person actually ended up favoriting the Jimmy John's tweet. So the first order of responsibility is to actually address the questions, concerns, and feedback from your customers as they come in. These are the social messages that actually require a timely response, the ones that people are expecting you to get back to them within an hour. Sorry, these slides are taking a bit to move. Hey, Emily, could you click to the next slide? Right. Sorry, it's bouncing around.
There we go. I gotcha.
Thanks. So social customer care is on the opposite spectrum of that. It's when people aren't actually reaching out to you for a specific problem or to ask you any questions that are expecting a response. These people actually probably don't even expect a response at all. They're just talking about you without specifically tagging you. So this person said, Jimmy John's sounds so good right now. And you probably wouldn't expect Jimmy John's to actually respond to that, but they did, and they actually included this GIF of Joey from Friends saying, how you doing? So it's not just addressing a problem and taking what could be a bad experience and turning it into something positive. It's taking an already positive experience and turning that into an even better experience, and then turning somebody that was talking about your brand into a brand advocate and somebody that's going to continue to discuss your brand. You can see that this tweet that the GIF that they had sent had 3 retweets and 5 favorites. That's a ton of people seeing this positive conversation. So the important thing there is find conversations relevant to your brand to join. So look around social media for people mentioning your brand, mentioning some of your products, or just mentioning industry topics that you want to keep up with. And it's all about just growing your relationships and activating brand advocates. And then we're just going to turn it around and discuss how we look at online reviews, not just within the social space. Emily, is this you? Hey, Emily?
So what have some industries done in response to some of these significant numbers that I just showed on the screen? So let's look at the hospitality industry, for example. A significant portion of the record, $6.4 billion allocated by the hotel industry for upgrades and improvements in 2014 was spent in response to complaints like sites, Yelp, Twitter, and TripAdvisor. Now, reputation and review management serves as one of the top investment priorities for hospitality organizations, outranking marketing and advertising efforts. Now, feedback from your customers is a form of engagement, so it's really important to build that rapport through some review site management. Now, I've outlined on this slide here the 6 largest components of a strong review management strategy: claiming profiles, aggregating reviews with the tool, managing profiles, responding, analyzing the different trends, and also listening and taking that feedback into consideration. Now, listening, analyzing, and responding are 3 key ways to engage with your customers via your online review profiles. Now, analyzing your reviews will provide a deeper understanding of where and how your reviews are trending. So what specific insights and trends do your reviews reflect on your business? Now, reviews can also help improve customer-to-company interactions, which will create an opportunity for increased business. Now, listening to online reviews is really easy to do with a review monitoring and management tool like ReviewTrackers, because we give you the opportunity to remain aware of any new reviews that are posted online with daily scanning and immediate email notifications. Now, online reviews also provide just an immense amount of information and customer sentiment from those customers that are visiting your business locations. So responding to reviews is just another touch point to take advantage of and an opportunity to engage with your customers. Now, it is also a great strategy to improve visibility online. Now, responses show that you are willing to interact with your customers and engage with them in a public setting, which also creates a sense of transparency and accountability. Now, the increase in popularity of social media and review management sites offers customers a large, encompassing voice. Now, it's more than just listening, but it's about creating a sense of customer engagement, customer success, and what Michael mentioned earlier, customer happiness that's influenced by your customer voices. Now, in order to create this 3-step process of listening, analyzing, and responding, and taking feedback into consideration, a business needs to use a review management and a social media management platform to make changes based on this review feedback. So we now have the opportunity to take advantage of both review and social media channels and marrying the two to share reviews on social media, as well as taking cues from social media strategies for your different review profile sites. Now, the two of us came up with a few ideas to help implement and ensure that you are sharing relevant information across your social sites while also engaging with customers through online reviews simultaneously. All right, so one common idea that we like to advocate for here at ReviewTrackers is responding to your reviews. Now, we listed 3 reasons why it's important to respond to reviews. Negative reviews left unanswered can scare away customers. Positive reviews answered can activate brand advocates. And showing you're listening is going to encourage new visitors. Just another strategy in broadcasting your positive online reviews across multiple social media channels.
Yeah, of course. You definitely want to amplify the positive reviews on social media. I think I read recently that something like 92% of people trust feedback from their friends and family more than they do from the company itself, which makes a lot of sense because nowadays the digital advertising world is just so inundated with people trying to advertise everything they're selling to every single person. So the industry is really loud, and it's getting a little bit more difficult to trust brands at their word. So a big thing is actually getting people to advocate your brand to their friends. So once you do get somebody who's actually creating a positive buzz about you online, it's important to share that. So share your positive reviews across your relevant social pages, whether that be Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn if you're a B2B company. Those are really important, and they're going to help drive more people to your business. Another great strategy in doing that is to actually tag the person who wrote that review about you. A lot of people really like to know that brands are listening to them and that their feedback is being heard. So if you actually tag that person, they're likely to share it amongst their social circles, and then everybody who's seeing that is now, they know the person who created it and they trust it, and it's just a really good cycle if you can keep producing those reviews and sharing them. It's another great way to encourage more people to come back and review your restaurants or your hotels. If they see that you're actually listening to people and you're creating content based off what they say, they're likely to want to come and voice their own opinions. And it's important to get a lot of reviews. I mean, it could probably look just as bad if you have a page that only has one good review than one that just has maybe a handful of mediocre reviews. And then there's the third idea we had that Emily will talk about.
Absolutely, and that's creating unique images with the help of positive reviews. So it's another great tactic for sharing customer-generated content like reviews by creating original posts that actually uses that content. So Michael actually shared this great example on one of his guest posts on our blog. He shares the idea by turning reviews into amazing social posts because they're relevant, they're current, and they're dynamic content that are absolutely worth sharing. Now, they are great examples because they come from the mouths of your customers and as positive affirmation for your brand. Now, it's really easy to do this with tools like ReviewTrackers, Sprout Social, and an image creating site at your fingertips. So for example, a recent 5-star review is great to share with your social media audience. Now, all you need is the text of the review and really a little creativity to build a shareable image around it for context. Now, the merge of these two online strategies offers seamless interactions between your review site audience with your social media audience. Now, customer engagement can be easily amplified by using social media and review channels to promote each other's content. Now, the content created by customers can shape how and what a business shares on their social media sites. So this cohesive partnership of a social media and review management strategy can really help build a strong customer engagement policy. Now, also, another unique feature of ReviewTrackers is it allows our clients to share a review on a business's like Twitter or Facebook page. Now, the idea behind social sharing is to hopefully, increase the number of people who view these reviews, as well as encourage those who visit social sites to leave an online review. It's essentially a personal recommendation on someone's social network. So it's going to include friends, family, and really those in their community. Now, take advantage of the Nielsen stat that 92% of consumers around the world say that they trust earned media, such as recommendations from friends and family, above all other forms of advertising. Now, earned media is a form of publicity that comes from promotional efforts or is customer-driven, unlike traditional paid forms of advertisement. Now, your social media audience may differ from your review site audience, so sharing reviews on social is a great way to reach your social media audience with positive content generated from your review site audience. Now, this may also encourage your brand advocates on social to also leave a review themselves.
Yeah, I can't,
to close, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can't really stress enough how easy it is to create images like this with this tool Canva that I'm a huge fan of. So I just went through, for this example and for the guest post that I wrote, I went through ReviewTrackers and I found an example of a company that got a great review. And I took that quote as well as the person's name, and I used a template that Canva already has. And I quickly created this image. And when I say that I don't have any design abilities, that's actually being kind of generous. I'm just not a very good designer at all. But using a tool like Canva makes it so easy. So if you do have all those positive reviews and you want to earn more with them, I definitely recommend using a tool like that. Sorry, and then back to Emily.
No, I thought that was a great addition. It honestly, to me, when I first saw that image in your blog post, I thought a designer had created it, and I didn't realize how easy it was. Exactly, and I didn't realize how easy it was to take content that is coming from the mouths of your happy customers. So it's what you're doing well at your business locations, and then taking that content that they're creating for you, essentially, and then kind of adding your own spin to it, and then sharing that, across your other social media channels is a great way to share content, cross-promote, different ideas, different reviews, to hopefully, get more people on your social media channels to leave reviews on your different review profiles, and then also to just kind of create a broader, more cohesive audience across your different, platforms and channels that you have already online.
Yeah, I think I know this specific audience right here probably knows as well as anybody just how hard it is to come up with all of the content that you need to fuel all of the different social networks that you have. People are just always looking for new forms of content to share to their followers and their friends. So this is just a really scalable way to create unique, quick content. That was quick twice. But so especially if you have multiple pages getting different reviews, I mean, it's a very scalable way to take reviews and turn them into images and share.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So hopefully you learned that today to take those reviews and to apply a little bit of design and creativity to them, and then share them with a social media platform like Sprout Social. So the two and two can work together really well.
Yeah, it's really all about listening. I mean, people go to these online sites and all they want is a little bit of attention from brands. And if you could just spend a little bit of time giving it what they want, you're going to go from having somebody who had a negative experience to what could possibly be a customer for life. And I know that a lot of the questions come around ROI and is it worth it, but I think if you just think about it in the terms of customer service and actually talking to the people that buy your product, that you really can't put much of a price on that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Totally agree. So I want to open it up now for some Q&A. I have a list of questions that came at us during the content. So we'll just kind of go back and forth. I'll read them out loud, and then we'll try to get as many answered as possible. All right, let's take a look at the first one here. Oh, here we go. This is for you, Michael. What is the calendar you're using in slide 26? I know this answer.
Yeah, so I got this question a lot, like when I give this webinar, well, not this specific webinar, but when I use that image. It's a screen that you do have within Sprout, but not currently. It's a feature that's going to be coming soon, but can't talk super specifics. Just keep your eyes peeled for it.
I like you left a little mystery.
I know. I got to be a little cryptic on that one. But to be honest, I don't really know myself the specifics. But just keep your eyes peeled, and it'll come soon. But it's going to be a great feature.
Here's another one. What is the best social media outlet to post a review quote on? So taking like what we had with the Canva example, where should we post those? So Michael, do you have any recommendations on specific social media channels that work better for different industries or for different images?
That's exactly it. I was going to say by industry. So if you're kind of a B2B company, I think LinkedIn is definitely the place you want to be. But if you don't really have a specific industry that you'd find on a different social network, then probably Twitter. Just because the volume around Twitter, there's this kind of natural anticipation that you're going to put a lot of content online on Twitter, so you can more frequently post these reviews. So I would definitely say Twitter and then Facebook.
Cool. So with using reviews to create a unique image, would a customer be turned off if we tag them without full permission? That's a good question. They have the opportunity to decide whether or not they want to leave a review on a specific review site. I know that some review sites vary in terms of how much information a person can personally, attain or attribute to that review. Like for example, Facebook or Google+, your profile is attached to whatever review you leave. Your name, first and last, your photo is there. Yelp is a little bit different. It could be a little more anonymous. You can have a username. So if you don't want to, tag them in terms of like having their name on that Canva image, if you just take that review and maybe say, review posted in, you can say like a month or maybe a specific business location if you have multiple locations. So you can remove their name if you are a little want to err on the side of caution, I guess, for example.
Yeah, or I would just say if you want to just reach out to them, I'm sure you'll find a lot of the
Yeah.
customers who are leaving positive reviews definitely want to have the credit for that and would like to be exposed to your audience and to grow their own following. I think a lot of people go and leave these reviews because they want people to see them. So, of course, there's no better way of doing that than actually including them. Plus,
Absolutely. I mean, they're your brand advocates.
yeah, and then you're using it as a way to continue building that relationship.
Absolutely. Here's another one. So when sharing reviews on social, using the images such as the one that we created with Canva, so what verbiage, Michael, would you recommend for the actual post with that image?
So, yeah, I kind of would, in situations like that, I usually say, like, check out what X had to say about our company, and then you could also add something if you need more reviews on your site, a call to action to send people back to leave their own reviews. Like, check out what Emily wrote about Sprout Social. Do you have a similar opinion, or do you have another opinion that you'd like to share with us? I think that's a good way of driving more reviews. But otherwise, just something like, hey, see what X had to say, or see what so-and-so had to say, would be my verbiage. I think that would be a good approach to take initially, and then you could always test out copy and see what resonates and see what gets shared and commented on and liked.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? You can keep it as simple as you want. You know, and I like your example, Michael, of just saying, hey, take a look at what so-and-so wrote on this review site, and then just using that text as a tweet, for example. All right.
Exactly. Or something like, if you don't agree with this person, you're the worst.
This person sucks. Don't do that. Or at least if you do it, don't say that we told you to.
Exactly.
We are in the healthcare industry. How do you suggest engaging with patients within regulations? Really good question. To answer this question, we're HIPAA compliant. If you're curious about that, ReviewTrackers is. We also have the opportunity to ask for internal feedback. So if you don't want it to go down the route of asking your patients to leave online reviews, and I know that a lot of information in terms like of a doctor and a patient relationship is very personal and private. So having the opportunity to reach out to your patients and then asking for feedback internally is probably the best way to get as much feedback as possible. You know, especially if it's going to be internal, they can really share as much information as they want to share, but also still maintaining a healthy social media and, you know, also review strategy online. I mean, you want to still remain engaged with anyone that interacts with your different social or review profiles, even if it's not essentially as much feedback coming in from those sites, but you still want to be able to be listening. You know, if someone made an appointment, let's say, and the person's an hour late and they send a tweet to your hospital, it's really important to still like remain aware and listening to those examples of feedback as well.
Yeah, and I would say, like, if somebody had like a positive experience, maybe you could reach out directly to them via a DM or a message and just ask for maybe a candid quote that you could use, like, I trust Northwestern with all my medical needs or something like that. And if they're giving you permission to use that, I'm not super familiar with the medical field, but I think that would be okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have one last question here. So if a happy customer sends a nice testimonial via email, is it okay to upload these into review sites or social channels? I would say take that opportunity to first ask them for their permission to take that, you know, really nice testimonial that they sent you, turn that into one of the original posts you can use with a site like Canva and post it on your social channels.
Yeah, I would definitely say reach out and get that permission first, though, because
yeah, definitely.
If they just stumble across it themselves, then they may change that entire opinion about the review that they left and maybe redact it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I really don't see any customers saying, no, you can't use these nice things that I've said about you, unless you get into a situation where it's like, we have some customers who say, you know, we can't mention that we use your brand, and that's fine, but you just don't want to step on their toes like that. You got to make sure first.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely make sure that they're totally on board, and then I say if they say yeah, go for it. All right, I know I said that was the last question, but let's do one more. It just came in at the last second here. When, when you use the quote of a review, is it okay to make spelling and grammatical changes? Ooh, Michael, you want to take this one?
I'd say yes. I mean, because when you're using a quote, you're kind of putting your own brand name behind it at that point. So you don't want to come across as you know, you having a grammatical error or spelling error or something like that. It's another thing that you could, if you're feeling very uncomfortable about, or if it's just not like a minor tweak, if you have to make something major, definitely reach back out and say, hey, this is the final draft. What do you think about it? And if they say no, I mean, maybe you can move on to a different quote. It's at the end, I think that the branding of your company is something that is undervalued these days as we move into more of an industry that likes to look at the quantitative data above the qualitative data. Sometimes the idea of brand voice and taking the time to do things right gets a little bit left behind, but I do think it's important to spend the time getting that right.
Absolutely. Couldn't say that better myself. And I agree with you, Michael. I think you know, you should, especially, you know, you can actually reach out to the person and say, hey, do you mind if I, you know, use this quote for a review? I'm just going to go ahead and maybe change this word, you know, spelling wise, and they'd be totally fine with it, I assume.
You're probably going to just get a response that just says, dang, it was autocorrect.
Yes, actually, that I would say 9 out of 10 times that's the exact response you're going to get.
I mean, as we move more towards the mobile world, there is probably going to be a lot more grammatical and spelling errors. But you just reach out and then just get the permission to change it up. I think that would be in good shape.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank Michael first. You've been fantastic. I really appreciate your time and your expertise. I think I learned a lot. I know. I hope everyone learned a lot. We will be sending out this video. We did record it, so you can reference back to it at any time you want. But again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot, you know, support at ReviewTrackers an email. We'd be happy to address it.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Emily, and bundle up for this weekend's snow.
You know I will. Have a good day.